Hello folks, how are you? Just sitting here with a vintage Japanese made Conrad guitar, which is kind of interesting. But that's not really what I want to talk about this time. I've been doing this channel for a few months and I'm learning a lot and enjoying a little bit of community from the people who have similar channels. I find that when YouTubers are quite small, they take the time to watch other channels, but when they get big, they sort of drop that. They stop watching what other people are doing and they concentrate more on their own channel. So I have a couple of other small YouTubers that watch what I'm doing and comment, and I'm very grateful for it. And there are others that I watch that you know, I don't think they notice or watch what I'm doing, which doesn't really bother me. What I'm going to try and do is to stay connected and pay attention to what other people are doing, no matter where this channel goes. I'm going to try and stay connected to my roots, if you like. One of the things I've learned is not to create pandering videos, just videos crassly looking for populist response or looking to appeal to people's shock value and things like that. So, for instance, I have a video I made about how the violin background influences guitar making. And I think it's actually one of my better videos. I think the content is really interesting, but only 18 people watched it. It has 18 hits. Whereas I've made videos on Telecaster copies that are now somewhere around 5,000–6,000 hits. So you would expect me to start tailoring my channel to chase those higher hit videos, but I don't want to do that. First of all, I made that video for those 18 people, and I hope they found it helpful. And I'll make more videos like that, knowing that they're not going to get tons of hits, because I want to cover material that's interesting and perhaps has fallen through the cracks in what everyone else is doing. I love talking about Telecaster copies and things like that, but there are thousands of videos and thousands of YouTubers who are working in that realm, that are buying cheap electric guitars and modding them and doing videos about them, and that's fine. So I'm not going to chase the ratings type of thing. I'm going to just make videos about things that I think are A, interesting, B, not all the way covered by people in doing these kind of videos, and C, are informative, groundbreaking even. I mean, I've done videos about, I'd say 4 or 5, 6 guitar manufacturers that no one else has done. I don't see any other videos done on those makes or those models. And no matter how many hits they get, I feel like that's providing some sort of service. So I'm going to continue to do that. Another thing that I'm not going to do is bash other luthiers and guitar collectors, enthusiasts and experts that make videos. I'm just not interested in doing that. I watched a recent video made by Scott Grove, and I like Scott Grove. I think he has some really interesting information. He's very unique. He makes points that others are perhaps shy away from making. He's bold, in a manner of speaking. I don't always agree with him. I don't always agree with his approach or his comments. I was a little disappointed to recently see a video he made in which he disparaged other people in the guitar community. And I know that he sort of does that for ratings. He's got that shock jock value, and you know, it gets people on his channel, it gets people talking in his comments and things like that. And I know you have to watch some of this stuff and receive some of his comments from Dr. Groovy with a grain of salt, and that's fine. But you know, I don't understand, for instance, why he, in the recent video I watched, belittled the fool with the taxidermy on his walls. And I think that he's referring to Randy Schardinger, who is the only luthier I know that makes videos that has taxidermy on the walls, and is fairly well known, so I suspect that's who he's talking about. I don't know why he would take a pot shot at Randy. It feels like the two would be very sympathetic to what each other is doing. I don't see any big doctrinal differences between the two. I'm not quite sure why he is belittling him. I think Randy does excellent work. Is one of the better Luthier filmmakers, if you like. There are lots of good Luthiers on YouTube, but they don't always present themselves well in the YouTube format. He does. He has an everyman appeal. He does his work in his garage, and he's not surrounded by millions of dollars worth of tools like the Crimson guys. So I think he's very helpful. He's been very helpful to me, and I'm not just defending him because he actually watches my channel and comments, and I feel some sort of connection to the guy. I actually think I can't see why anyone would speak ill or make fun of him. Similarly, in that video, he refers to Dave's World of Stupid Stuff, which maybe joking around, but I don't see why you would belittle our Canadian friend either. I mean, he's very quirky. He has his unique style. I don't agree with everything he says. He sometimes mocks brands, that I don't agree with. I don't agree with his evaluation of certain guitar brands and models, but he's full of great information. He's a good luthier. Like Randy, he's very precise. You can learn a lot from just how both of them are the type of measure once, measure twice, check 3 times sort of thing. They're very patient. They have great work ethics. So I'm not quite sure why anybody would bash either of them. I don't agree with them both. In fact, I did a video disagreeing with Randy's definition of a luthier, which you can see on my listings. And I don't agree with anyone 100% of the time. I recently wrote a comment on a Crimson Guitars video where I said, look, I don't find these videos where you're trying to make a guitar in 3 hours with all of your highfalutin shop machinery very relevant. I mean, I find your lesser popular videos where you're talking about some really small basic technique like sanding or how to apply a certain varnish or some sort of luthier trick that will help the person working on their guitar in their basement or in their garage. But that's just my opinion. I just find certain videos more helpful than others, and others I find a bit more showy and trying to maybe pick up ratings. So I'm all about constructive criticism, and I get it on this channel too. I just don't understand why anyone would bash anyone else in this little community of luthiers and guitar collectors and experts. I think all of the main channels, all of the developed channels have something to offer, and you can learn from them. And the other person he makes fun of is the Know Your Gear guy. He calls him the Know Your Gear guy. We all know he's talking about Philip McKnight, again, who has a lot to offer and makes a lot of great points and has an approach that's slightly different from the other luthiers. Having owned a shop and having had more relationships with wholesale, retail, that kind of thing, has slightly different insights than somebody just working on a used guitar in their home. So I'm not sure why and I'm not picking on Scott. Maybe it's just all fun and games. But I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to pick on other luthiers, make fun of other people's channels. I sometimes do come across a channel where somebody worked on a guitar for 10 minutes, decides they're an expert and starts a YouTube channel, and maybe I feel like they ought to develop their craft or increase their information on the subject before becoming a pontificator on the subject. But I'll just not watch the videos. I'm not going to sit around bashing people. You know, recently I had a video where I offered some unsolicited advice to the China guitar skeptic about maybe where he can concentrate his future videos, seeing that he had his recent strike. But it's, you know, it's all done with a measure of respect and camaraderie with these folks who are largely on the same journey in discovering lesser known brands and overlooked guitars in the market. So you know, I say you can learn something from all of them, and if you don't like their style or their manner, or you disagree completely with what they're doing, then just don't watch. Go somewhere else to find your viewing content. That's all I had to say today. I'm going to keep these videos coming. I know I'm not very big. I know my videos don't get that many hits. But I'm going to keep going with what I feel to be the right thing, making interesting videos about things that are perhaps not covered and not try to chase the ratings. I hope you can appreciate that. And I really am thankful for those that do watch and have commented and have said nice things about what I'm doing. Okay, that's enough rabbiting on, and I'll see you next time.